to our series of expert webinar, The Time for Reconstruction, the role of vocational training and education in reviving world tourism. Today we will have a webinar in English with translation into Spanish. So thank you to Monica and Alfonso for doing the translation work. I am Daniela Otero, CEO of Skål International, and I would like to thank you for joining us today. We will start because now it's 5 minutes past 3, so here in Spain we are ready. The world of tourism is being severely affected by the pandemic, and we have to adapt to this new normality, which means creating, developing and testing new tools, standard and procedures, professionals to bring confidence to the customer and also, of course, of the professional working in our sector. In this scenario, professionals training will also have to adapt, which is why today we will talk about the role that professional training and education will have in the imminent reactivation of world tourism. This is why we are joined today by Philippe Francois, President since 2010 of AMFORTH, World Association for Training in Hotel and Tourism. Philippe, who has had a long career training in the hotel industry and has a wealth of experience, is now an international consultant in the hotel and tourism industry, expert in optimizing results and operation solutions for sustainable development. Philippe and his team has published books and professional guides and contribute to the creation of more than 20 hotel schools and university programs through the world. Welcome and thank you for joining us, Philippe. I understand, Philippe, that AMFORTH, on the initiative of the World Tourism Organization, began almost 15 years ago the global network of professional in tourism training. What is AMFORTH and how does it operate, please?
Thank you so much, Daniela, and hello to everyone. Hello to the Skål International world. Very happy to be with you this afternoon with a little bit of my team. You are right, Daniela. UNWTO created AMFORTH 51 years ago, and it started with a group of 5 persons and personalities of education, and now we are approximately 700 members from 70 countries all over the world. And 3 years ago, we have been recognized by United Nations organization in order to be the reference in training and education for tourism, hospitality, and culinary arts in the world. And we are a non-profitable organization, and we are just here in order to gather people who have got the same focus and we have, is a focus on human being in the tourism industry. You see, we are all from educational colleges, business schools, universities, culinary art schools, hospitality schools, but as well from the industry, hotel and tourism association, but as well some ministries or directors of tourism in the world. And all these people are focused on human being, mainly training and education, but as well employment. And this is why you have chosen this topic upon what can we do as far as training and education are concerned, facing the relaunching of the tourism industry. And this will be the topic of today.
Now I would like Philippe to introduce our 3 guest members of the organization, please. So this is important because we have Martin, Dennis, and Al.
Yes, so I'm very proud to introduce you three personalities of our members, but as well of the world of education in the world. We've chosen somebody from Federation of Russia, Denis Jesyakov, and from Moscow University, well, one of Moscow University, but maybe one as far as tourism is concerned, somebody from China, Al Khalofi Tumert. And I hope Al is with us now. I don't see his face, but he should be around with us. He's from Beijing in China, and somebody from Western Europe, who is Martine Ferry. She's one of the deans of the Institut Paul Bocuse in France.
Thank you so much. And on behalf of Skål International, I'd like to thank you for your presence. For your information, we miss Al yet, so we will begin with the rest of our guests. And when Al is on board, I will inform all the rest, right? Okay, I want to clarify for you and for the people who join us today, what will be the methodology. The methodology chosen for this webinar will be each question asked can be answered by each of our panelists. Please limit your answer to no more than 1 minute each. In this way, we will be able to incorporate the view of each geographic area, and it will be the way to have more global information about the topics. Are you okay?
Yes.
Yes. Fantastic, thank you so much. So first of all, the first question that I have for both all of you is, which are, in your opinion, the new needs for training and capacity building that will make possible the continuity of the tourist activity? Please, Philippe.
Yes, you see, what happened this year, it's absolutely exceptional. We faced 5 steps, I would say. First of all, the kind of surprise. Then we were a kind of a misunderstanding around all educational and hotel schools. And the third step was chaos, absolutely chaos. But then again, from June and July, that was the next step, which was kind of reorganization. And now we are in a new step of creation of new methodologies. You see, we've got to change old habits, we've got to change our paradigm, and we've got to learn now more flexibility and at the same time as rigor and tightness for our students and within our team. So we have had to change a little bit of everything this year. So it's very interesting, very exciting moment, but at the same time, we are very afraid of what we are facing. At the same time, so as far as the economics of our institutions are concerned, it was quite difficult. But at the same time, we've got a lot of new students coming to our schools and university because of the millennium step, you see. And so it's not so much that we are frightened about losing our clientele. Mm-hmm. But now we are frightened about the employment integration and the obviously need to change our method of learning things and what we are learning to students. But perhaps I would like to be short and then I will talk again. But perhaps exactly. Martine Ferry, as the first one, what have been the situation? What do you think in your institution?
Hello, everyone. Happy to be on board. Obviously, we need to think now with, we need to stay humble. We face, as Philippe, you mentioned, a very strange and catastrophic situation, but we must view it as an opportunity to change, to evolve. From our standpoint, what we think is that we need to be more collaborative. And we need to emphasize what we currently do in the master program that I lead, is that we need to emphasize peer-to-peer learning. And for us, that's a very critical element. And we need to, as well, to have a critical thinking standpoint as well, in order to all the time adjust, as you mentioned, be flexible, and have more and more real life project in our curriculum, because we need to adapt to this new normal. So we need to have real concrete project, and as much as possible, and be more collaborative. In the meantime, we need to stay humble, because we do not have the truth. We are not blind, of course, because we have our past, but still we don't know what's ahead. And so we need to constantly adjust our syllabi and curriculum.
Be flexible. Yeah, of course. Dennis? Dennis is there?
Open your microphone, Dennis.
Yes.
Yes.
No, yes, perfect, Dennis.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What is your opinion about it?
Well, I think this year is will bring us new challenges, but I'm quite optimistic because we are looking into digital future, and I hope that our introduction to the digital future of education will help us to offer even more useful methods and tools for our students.
Exactly. Yeah, and your point of view is in relation with your country, Russia, now?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Nowadays, all the universities in the Russian Federation are forced to introduce digital technologies in education. So maybe with all the heavy losses and so on, maybe these pandemics will help us to improve our education in such a way.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay, the second question that we will have for all of you is, how should this new requirement be implemented? What is your opinion about it? Philip, please.
Yes, so we said that we have to change our syllabus and all the academic method. What I would say is, facing the new employment and integration of the new employment, probably we should consider three points. First point is to obviously to keep on learning methods and techniques. Obviously, we will carry on yield management, marketing, and so on. Obviously, yes. But we should as well perhaps focus on a second point, which is human relationship. Because nowadays we have changed our ways of communication. Look at today. We are on a webinar, and this is a new way of communication with other humans around the planet. So we should really focus much more on human relationship. We will not meet as often as it was before people. So we need to organize, to create new ways of relationship between the people. And the third thing is very important for me, is how to use internet. You know, it's very, very strange, because we are using internet every day, but at the same time, when I go to school, business school or universities, how many hours are dedicated to how to use yourself, by yourself, internet? You know, before, when I was a student, it was a classroom with 30 students and one teacher. Nowadays, it's all vice versa. It's 30 teachers facing one student. And we need to relearn how to use internet nowadays, especially with the 5G coming on.
Exactly, prioritize the contents.
Yes.
With this new normality. And for your opinion, Martin?
I think that from a methodological point of view, we need to learn, we need to teach how to learn. And because we are learning many new technical stuff, as Philip mentioned, as well as new techniques. So we need to clearly define what is learning and how to learn, because we are in a lifelong process learning process. So we need to have a methodology which is very, very important, very rigid, very solid, in order to, for instance, serve the internet, but be aware that there are some fake news, obviously, and we need to define and identify what is a reliable source of information. So for me, this method to learn how to learn may be the first step before we could dive into other topics.
Yeah, and then Dennis?
Mm-hmm. Well, I actually have two ideas. The first one is that we need new techniques to teach, how my colleagues have mentioned. So perhaps we need to maybe learn a bit from the popular bloggers or streamers. This may sound paradoxical, but when a lot of students sit in front of their computers, laptops, phones, and so on, they need to be dragged into the process, and unfortunately the professors don't always have these these emotions and these skills to drag their students into their online teaching. And my second idea is to offer more targeted programs. For example, we have just a fresh experience with the one corporation here in Russia, in Moscow. They want specifically targeted program for 1 year, because 2 years of master's degree is too much for them. And I believe that we will need to offer 1 year master's programs.
Yeah, it's good to see. My next question, I have heard mentoring mentioned these last months as new practice aimed at developing knowledge, guidance, and helping staff in the development of their professional capacity and skills to increase their chance of success. What do you think about this technique? Works, not? Philippe?
Yes, at the same time, Ultimate is with us.
Super.
Hello, Hal.
Yes.
Can you hear us?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can hear you clearly. Yes.
He has a problem with the audio, I think. We will give him 2 or 3 minutes for put everything in order, and when it's ready, we will introduce Al. Not very good, actually, Al. We can see you now, perfect, but you have bad audio.
Now, can you hear me now?
Yeah, now perfect. Welcome on board, finally. Thank you so much. Philippe, you can introduce, please, Al?
Yes, I'm very pleased to introduce Al. He's currently is Beijing, but since 20 or 25 years ago, and is director of programs, university and business school programs there. He's from Morocco at the same time, but now he's more Chinese than Moroccan. Am I right? And very happy to have you on the other part of the planet.
But it's so good, it's so good. So welcome on board, and I think that your point of view from China and North of Africa is fantastic. So we can cover, you know, Europe, Russia, Africa, and China and Asia. So it's a good idea.
Just sorry about the America continent. Sorry about them, but they are as well on board of AMFORTH. But yeah, that was a bit difficult.
For the next time, we will incorporate. Yeah.
On America, yeah, North and South. Yes.
So we are talking about the mentoring, this new system, because I heard during this 2 or 3 months ago that is or will be a good method for help and support the education area. What is your feeling or your information about this in China, for example, about the mentoring?
Well, about China itself, mentoring is not used that much, knowing that most people, when they go to work, they have training, of course, but it's a very, I mean, basic training. There is, it's HR that gives training, but there is no support like
No
by
ticket
having
system.
managers staying with trainees or employees through the work phase and helping them to understand the job and also get them to understand the practical point of view through mentoring. However, when it comes to mentoring myself as an educator, I think it's a little bit tricky lately because mentoring requires that you bring your own experience and you give it to the new trainee and you help him get advantage of what you have been doing and get into that field of the culture, the cooperation, and few elements there. However, in today's fast-moving skills, I would say as an educator, I can see that in our curriculum on whatever we do in education, I believe mentoring is a little bit outdated because the ones who are doing mentoring somehow lack the new skills. I believe it myself because they have to give something new and the future is a little bit different than the past. So this is, I work in academic for many years. I know it's a dilemma between moving beyond what we have been doing. And I believe mentoring has to be very critical in a way that you also mentor them to know new skills. How is the future coming? And I believe sometime managers or people who have been in the job for 20 years, I'm not sure how they can make that transition by looking at the future, not only training them of what they do today.
Well, I think that as in everything, there are different positions, and I think that your face, Martin. But the idea is not to create a debate now. We talk about it and try to reflect the different opinion or situation around the world, part of the world. We have the first question in our chat, the Simon Jacob. Do you feel that this needs to connect directly with your students? Will need to better client communication in the future? So try to be short and so we can jump in the different questions. Yes, Philip, please.
Yes, obviously we mustn't forget clients, but at the same time, you see, one thing I would like to mention is we're not concentrated only in AMFORTH towards the students. We are concentrated toward all professionals. You know, nowadays, hotel schools and universities are not only focused on only students. We are focused on all the professionals at any age. You know, it's a training all over the lifetime. So we are trying, and we need to concentrate as well on new programs for professionals. And obviously, within that objective, we need to keep on learning although the traditional topics such as marketing and such as client satisfaction and client service, and especially today because the needs of our clients in tourism are changing so much. So we need ourselves as teachers and educators to change again our syllabus in order to face the new needs of the clients. And this is very not only important, but it is quite difficult for us because we do not know exactly what do they need. You see, in so many countries, this last summer period, instead of going a long way, a lot of people, they stayed home in order to go to even, you know, to spend some time in a camping at only 20 kilometers away. And this is a new way to buy tourism. So it's so difficult for the educational staff to exactly know what are exactly the needs for the clients. But obviously we need to keep on the traditional topics such as this one.
Okay, Martin?
Yes, yes, I do agree, and we work very closely to the clients and with the sectors, with the hospitality sector for in our program, and that's critical for us to get in touch and to have projects from the sector And our students, they work on problematic. They work as young junior consultant, and they work on problematic that arise from the sector. So for us, that's critical to be in touch with the sector, with professionals, as well as trying to define what the new services will be in the coming future. But it's the attitude, for me, it's the attitude towards education and training that we need to change. And we need to be constantly taking the pulse of the client and the industry. This is why we can do that with projects.
Al, please. Your opinion.
Yes, so I agree with Martin and Philip. We have to connect with the students or our clients at the end of the day, because we are there to help them, support them, progress in their work. This is not only about us. And this push us as an educator or trainers to also do some homework, create an environment where we understand where they are. As Philip says, sometimes the customer does not understand where he is or what he wants to do. So we have to push ourselves to understand the reality of the environment where they are, what they need, and try to do some scenarios and basically critical thinking. I believe in critical thinking, number one. Two, connecting through technology. We cannot stop ourselves from using applications in the class. I use applications in the class. I let the students open their own applications, search information in front of me in the class, like I do with them, to get them used to the new world is in front of us, like we are doing here, using technology to participate and to discuss things. So yes, connection through critical thinking, through ourselves to understand what's happening around us, do some research, get prepared, and also through using technology, applications, whatever you can talk to them, because many students, many trainee have different mode of understanding. So we have to keep in touch with them, and technology is the best way.
Okay. Denise?
My thoughts on mentoring are the following. We actually tend to include mentoring or a coaching as part of our educational process. We see mentoring vital to learning how to master soft skills. So for us, mentoring is connected to soft skills. Mm-hmm. Because we think it is important for our business partners to share their insights, their views, their ideas with the students, because the students can master hard skills like accounting, economy, programming, whatever, by themselves or at the university, while soft skills, how to communicate, how to, behave themselves, are quite important, and they will learn from the business partners, from our business partners.
According to the expert and according to the information collected during the last World Meeting on Digital Education, 54% approximately of workers will need to improve their skills and abilities, and 65% of young people will work in a job that do not exist today. So how is the tourism education sector preparing for this? Because it's huge, Philippe.
Flexibility, we said. And when we say how to use internet or human relationship, a new kind of human relationship, and because I see one of the questions of somebody called SI something, and how are we going to cope with contactless checking in and things like that? Yes, it's all about human relations and flexibility. We need nowadays to learn what doesn't exist. So we need to learn how to create, how to innovate, and how to, just to face new kind of situation. So this is brand new for us, and it's about mentoring. It's not about hard, topics like, computer. So it's quite difficult, and we need time for that. And at the same time, we need to have very small classrooms. It's very difficult to learn this with an amphitheater of 80 or 100 students. Much better if you are less than 10 people.
Yeah.
So
Sorry for interrupt you. One reflection from Hero Liao in our chat speak about the empathy. So this is very important. I have relationship with the education process. It's so important. How you can change the things, how you can do this big change if you don't have empathy with your students or your professionals.
In one of the school I created, École de Savignac, we asked some doctors to come and to learn our students how they are communicating with their patients, with the people at the hospital in order. And one day, one of them told us, you know, when somebody in his bed is asking for a glass of water at 1 o'clock at night, it's not because he's thirsty, just because he needs to talk to somebody. And exactly. It's the same in your hotel. Okay, be this kind of, you know, hospitality doctor. This exactly. Is very, it was a great, you know, understanding of something new, how we understand service nowadays.
Dennis?
Well, I would actually agree with Philippe. The key is flexibility. We don't know what will happen in a year or in 2 years. We don't even know what will happen in several months, considering all that is happening around pandemics and so on. So I think we should teach our students just the basics that they will have to master, like foreign languages, some basic IT, some basic accounting, some basic economy. Then they will be mentored in soft skills, and then they will be ready to take almost every job. We are talking about tourism and hospitality. This is not particle physics. You know, they will not be flying to the moon. It's quite easy, and it's and our business is built upon communicating with other people. It's not rocket science, actually.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Martina, jump over you, please.
I would like to add that, of course, we have some trends, and we can see that in terms of new positions, we have some trends that we can see in terms of, for instance, sustainability. Probably in a few years from now, we will have green manager. Probably that we will have security or CSR manager in properties. So these are the big trends that we can see. In addition to that, we have some constraints that are emerging, for instance, like the pandemic. So in some hotels already, you have a sanitary manager, you have people in charge of all the security and sanitary aspects of the hotel. So we have some big trends, and we have some constraints emerging from the reality and the current situation, and we need to react to that as well.
Mm-hmm. Al?
Well, I agree with everyone. I will just add a few words here. We need to look at some detailed solutions, like the future people who are going to work, either hospitality or other job, because the technology is changing everything. So they need to have entrepreneurial skills, really entrepreneurial skills, because you have to be innovative. When we say innovative, it means you have to be able to adjust to the new situation very quick, very fast, and bring new packages, new marketing solutions, new advice, how to manage the property and get things done, either at a property level or at your department level. So entrepreneurship is a very important skill that we need to focus on when we teach our students or we train the staff to change to the new behavior, because technology is taking over. Fast track check-in. You don't need any more a concierge. You can get with a map. You can have whatever you want on your phone. So many things have changed in the way hospitality used to work, and we need to focus on precise: e-marketing, e-branding, because we are moving to Instagram, we are moving to Twitter or WeChat in China, Weibo in China. These are online platforms and they need a new behavior, how to talk inside, how to put information inside. Marketing is good, but we have to move to e-marketing, e-branding. Also, we have to look at the soft skills of communication, as everybody said. This is going to be a communication issue, no more technical hard skills. This is not about creating a waiter or creating a sommelier even. Can be done online now. I mean, you can have all the advice you want with your meal today. You don't need even to ask the waiter anymore. And with the COVID-19, where the social distance is a requirement, and even in the future, people will be a little bit wary about people getting close to them. So showmanship, a few things like that are going to be a little bit of the past, while still exist somehow. So we have to create a new curriculum that match the new hospitality business that is taking over. So yeah, so we have to be very focused on technology, soft skills, experience-based as a consultant in the hotel, trying to provide the best solution for the customers, but also for your property, because this is a fast moving. This is not the first issue with the virus. Won't be the first. We have terrorism, we have virus, we have economies are closing, not only because of COVID-19. So we have to understand that our society is fast moving in many things, and the threats to our business is complicated than before. It will not be only a virus in the future, I believe. There will be cybersecurity threats, terrorism threats, now COVID-19 threats. So we have to have people who are able to understand what's happening around them and offer solutions to maintain the business working and moving ahead, because we cannot stop it anyway. So we need just to have people who have this mind of thinking in the way they operate.
Employees with technological skills will be required, but apparently more than 25% of big companies will have difficulty finding technological profiles. Also, the robotization and automations will increase after the coronavirus. This is something that we hear a lot during the last months. What is your opinion about it, or on this?
Martin or Dennis?
Well, I think we have, well, it won't be fast. I just went to a hotel here in Beijing during the stay. It won't be fast. We won't be taken over by robots. It's money, it's investment. It's also a connectivity infrastructure. We need much more, artificial intelligence need to be developed a little bit more. So we still have about 30 years, I believe, 20 years where we still don't need to worry about our jobs. But as you said, it is taking over. It already started taking over about softwares. We use a lot of softwares in a hotel, from front desk to accounting to a few things. So it's already started taking over. So I believe it is a must to train people about technology. But again, what do we want them to do? They won't create technology, but they have to use it. They have to work with it, or they have to be able to especially in internet, like I said, e-branding, e-marketing, and all these things, they have to use technology. So they have to work beside technology. People will be needed. We are not yet at the moment where we are going to see just robots in a hotel, or people will accept so far that we go in a hotel without people. That will be a little bit risky to think about it now. But we have to prepare maybe where we have a co-shared environment with automated support. So we have to think about it.
Yeah. Sure. Somebody wants to add something? Yes, Martin?
Yes. Thank you. And you save time with robots. You save time for very critical elements, such as the relationship with your guest. And so everything which is related to the soft skills, of course, but with this notion of caring, you can care about your guests, you can care about your colleagues if when all the technical elements are done. And you can save time. For me, I see it like that, and I do agree with Al. We are not at that time where everything will be taken over by robots. For the moment, we need to definitely clearly set up the limits. But for me, it's more a time saver for caring activities.
Yeah, we have another topic in our chat in relationship. This question or reflection is from Janet. What did we learn from September 11 disaster that affect the global hotel and tourist industry, and what can we apply today and in the future from those lessons learned? Yeah, it's after and before these two situations, no? September 11 and now the COVID situation.
We can see that tourism is a really resilient activity, and that's probably the most important lesson. Of course, it took 2 years, a little bit more than 2 years to recover, but still we have recovered. Have a look to the UNWTO forecast. Of course, there is a huge drop of the tourism flow, but still we are at a very good level. So we need to stay confident. It's a resilient activity, and people, because we are human beings, will be willing to travel again. So for me, that's a very important point. We need to stay optimistic. We are not in a dreadful situation. Of course, it has affected the world, and the entire world, and this is probably the second lesson. We live obviously in a globalized world, and we would be affected by many other events. I hope they are not going to be as dramatic as this one, but resilient activity, globalized world, and so de facto global solution that we need to find.
Absolutely, Martin. Another question and reflection from Jan Sunday. He said, what do you think about the job opportunities when the hotels are firing their staff? He mentioned the situation now in Scandinavia. The Scandinavian hotel group is firing more or less 1,000 employers. So yeah, this is dramatic situation, no? How we can teach and think in the future when we take another reality now. It's very challenging in relationship with all the students and of course the professional sector. Yes, Philippe. You need to, you have in a mute, Philippe. Philippe, we can hear you. We need to open your microphone. Okay, we can hear you, Philippe. So
yes,
maybe,
that's it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for the techniques.
Okay.
I couldn't do it by myself. So
okay. Don't worry.
Daniela, no problem. Two points. First point was about the attitude, the new century after COVID-19. And I think one important thing is that we have changed because now we know that we need to have as well a security attitude, not only because of the COVID, but because of all what's happening around us with the climate change, with biodiversity, with all the wastage, with all everything which happens nowadays in the world. So we need to have another attitude, not only a service attitude, but as well as security attitude, or perhaps security is within service nowadays. And this is all a branch, of components of our academic syllabus that we need to add to what we did before. So this is a main change. Martin was talking about CSR. Obviously, yes, we need nowadays to develop, course and programs on sustainable development for tourism, on certification of hotels for environment, on biodiversity, and on sanitary security. So these are new components of our program, educational programs, from vocational schools up to PhD programs. And this is very new as far as we are concerned. And obviously, we are working on this with professionals. So all professionals who are with us, this afternoon from hospitality, tourism, travel agency, cruise companies, airway companies maybe, and thank you to come with us and work with us in order to update all our program on this point. Second point, or your question, Daniela, is about unemployment. So we are so sorry about that. But at the same time, you see, during this time of idle time, it's perhaps a good time for investment and for learning and for teaching. And we are, all of us, we are providing free or sometimes not free, webinars and special sessions, not only summer, but fall or winter sessions of training and education for professionals. So for the time being, if you have got a little bit of spare time, please come with us and work with us. And not only to learn from our educational center, but as well perhaps to teach to the students. We need to invest this idle time for training and education, for more education. As far as employment is concerned, we are working with major hospitality companies or catering companies, and obviously it's very tough time for young people to start working today. But it's only some time, it's going to be a short period of time that we are facing unemployment. And then I promise you, everything will start again. So for the time being, thank you to spend time for your own education, and employment will rebirth as well at the same time in a few months' time. Okay.
Hi.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes,
So
of course.
I would like to add a few things. First, about 9/11. I do remember that very clearly because I was in Switzerland during my undergraduate study when it happened, and the borders were closed, the visa restrictions were there, and it was a very bad moment for hospitality and people turning around for many nations. But again, I'll go back to all what you have said here. It's about resiliency of our economies. I don't think the COVID-19 will have a longer impact in how things will recover. We will recover. We will always recover. Sure, there are issues today about employment. People are losing their jobs. It's a certainty. It's unfair, but this is what's happening today because many hotels, they cannot anymore afford to keep up with the expenses and the expenditure that they went to. But what personally I have learned from my experience in the hotel business, because I did hospitality in Switzerland and I worked in hotels before also, is that you have to learn, you have to keep learning, and you have to adjust to the economy around you. You cannot just focus on one thing. If you do that, then you are not able to change from travel to hotel, to tourism, to maybe another business, another industry. Because we know in the hospitality industry, what you learn is languages, is soft skills, is able to talk to everyone and able to serve everyone. So if you understand this content very clearly, and then you learn by yourself few other courses, skills, train yourself into other fields, push yourself to the limits. And this is the time I believe a lot of us should do that, because opportunities will come back, maybe in a different way. So we have to be ready to take them. That is very important at this level. So I believe everything will go fine. It will be a hard time for 1 or 2 years, and we have to be ready to learn now, as everybody said, change our thinking about the job, and be able flexible and go back to hospitality later. You can switch between industries easily. If you worked in hospitality, you understand that you can switch and you can come back when you see there are opportunities there. That's my advice for the people who are a little bit suffering from unemployment now. And of course, business-wise, I see some questions there. It is a hard time because what I also learned is that we have to think worldwide. A lot of people think locally when it comes to jobs. And I believe, as my experience, I lost my job in America. I had a job, I had a contract in 9/11. I was going to the Ritz-Carlton, Washington, everything set. And 9/11 happened, I lost my job, but here I am in Asia. What I want to say is the world is very big. You don't need to get stuck into a local focus point, especially if you work in the hospitality industry. You learn more languages, you have soft skills, you can turn around very easily. And whenever there is a problem, you can be flexible to jump from area to area while keeping that employment alive for you. Are you flexible? That's all about also on the learners and the people who are working in this hospitality.
Yeah, it's true. Teleworking is not going to be the only forced technological advance that the pandemic is going to bring us. More technology will generate new opportunity for the professionals interested in talking advantages of this opportunity. What will be the new careers or new position in the coming years? Philippe?
I don't know. We're going to create them. And Martin was talking about a new position in the hospitality and tourism. So I obviously see it's the same thing. For example, sustainable development manager and security managers in hotels and this kind of thing. But again, one of the most important things would be probably, like we were already saying that 20 years ago, but is service management. It's all upon human and upon service. So forget about robots and please focus on human. Focus on the lady and the gentleman who are serving you. This is the main important thing I consider in tourism. And saying that is human, between human, you know, the service and between the servant and the client, and at the same time, between the planet, you know, and the client. We need to preserve our planet in order to do a better touring tomorrow.
And health safety, for example, is something that we can now incorporate this concept because it's so new for everybody.
Absolutely.
Martin.
Yes, absolutely. And we need to pay consideration to all the details and all the touch points that we have with guests, and we need to have changed our standpoint and consider safety, security, as well as green and sustainable policies. So we need to take everything into consideration. So that we need to deal with complexity, and so we need to open our chakras. That's not easy sometimes. But we need definitely to take that into consideration because we need to move forward and to adapt to the new normal.
And what will happen in China, for example? What is your opinion?
Well, for teleworking, let's go back because we in China, we moved our education system during March, from March till July, completely online. So the movement to go online was very fast. I used to work from my home for the last 6-7 months. That's why I say, if you are a resilient society, it's a very complex society, you can move quickly. In China, they had the ability to move everything online in about 2 weeks. So we had all our classes online, everybody was on board, and everything went fine. We had the end of the term, final exams, everything, so everything went fine. By now, we are back to classes actually. All our programs offline. So when it comes to teleworking, I don't see the future now. Maybe, again, we hard habits die very hard, right? Old habits die hard because we are not yet used to just stay from home and work. I don't think this is going to happen. We still need to go to office. We still need to meet people, and doing it from home is really not a solution. I don't think that's a solution. It creates another psychological issue for people working from home, being in the same place, trapped. It's not working. I don't think teleworking. It can do in meeting like we are doing now. It can do in summit. It can do for some special occasions, but not every time.
Yeah, maybe it depends, of course, in relationship with the area. No, it's not easy. Speak about tourists and teleworking. and what happened in Russia, Dennis? What is your opinion?
Thank you. Well, I would also like to mention the previous question, considering the jobs and the unemployment rate. We also witness it here in Russia and in Moscow, since most of the hotels are working with just 30% load, which is extremely low for them. But as I tend to say, the rain doesn't last forever. So yes, we know that the hotels have cut their personnel, but they will start hiring as soon as the situation resolves. So, well, I want to be optimistic considering the unemployment rate.
Okay.
And considering the opportunities and the new job positions, well, I actually think that everything, education and tourism and hospitality will split into two paradigms. The first paradigm will be the human touch. So if you have money, if you have opportunity, you will be using this human touch. So you will be studying at universities where professors teach you in lecture halls and so on. If you have opportunities, then you will enter the beautiful digital era. Unfortunately, it is so, and it is so happening that if you have the opportunity to travel the old way, you will do that. So perhaps these new positions will also be split into these two paradigms. If you want to work for, let's say, luxury positions and to apply for luxury hotels, you will have to update your soft skills. If you want to be a part of this digital world, then you will need to learn more ICT. I would say that you will need to learn how to master Python, MySQL, databases, how to build a predictive analysis, how to use predictive data. So I believe it depends on your vision of the future.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have a lot of comment and question, and we have a small time, but please, yes, go ahead, and we have one or two questions more, please.
Yes, I want to just add something. I think the future is hybrid. I call it hybrid in education. I don't see students going only online. I don't think this is going to happen. You cannot study everything online, but it can be hybrid. It means that first year, maybe 2 to 3 terms can be done in university in a class or college, but then you move online because you don't need any more to stay in college. So we have to find the right way. Where do you need to be in college? Where can you study online? Which subject can be done in face-to-face? You have to be there, and what subjects you can do online. So I think this is what the hybrid system will be. The same for the job. You will be required to go to the job sometime, but for some work, you need just to do it from home. So there will be a hybrid. I think we are going to move to a more hybrid level, slowly. Because we still, I mean, for students, I take our example as an indicator. I cannot imagine our students just going online all the time. It doesn't work. They have to come to class because you need to talk to them. You need to meet with them. You need to mentor them, as we just said before. You need to coach them. And this has to happen face-to-face. But I think the future is we must educate educational institutions, even in hospitality or whatever you are doing as a major. You need to be hybrid. You need to rearrange the academic program to see which classes you go, which classes you don't go. So to create a much more modern academic style, because our systems are so rigid. They were built about 100 years ago for an industry that doesn't exist anymore, by the way. Even our business growth went too far. This is not anymore last century. This is not anymore 1960s or 40s. Our business's growth is very high. The hospitality business has changed dramatically. People don't see that, but the business model on hospitality has changed dramatically since I used to work as a chef de rang in Switzerland. This is not anymore the same. And we don't see that. Schools don't see that. They still teach sommelier. They still want you to be the best waiter. They still want you to be the best chef. Beautiful, but things are changing and we have to think about it.
Yeah. 2 seconds, Martin.
Yes, this is why we need to increase the creativity and the mindset of our students, and we need to shift towards something which is more in the direction of design thinking, critical thinking, and this is what we currently do, because we need to train the future professionals. So for an industry which doesn't exist yet, or at its early stages, so we need to definitely move and train them for in creativity perspective.
I have two questions more or less in relation. How can small and medium-sized companies deal with the training of their current staff? And one reflection from our audience is in relation with the mice business. This person say that the tourist industry is resilient, but the mice business will be affected for a long time to come as the company's habits are changing through the crisis. Any ideas or advice on training for this sector in relationship with the mice specifically?
Specifically for mice, I don't know, but it's a real chaos. Yes, we agree on this. And but at the same time, you were talking about small companies as well, mice. Okay, we're dealing with service companies. So mice is rather large companies. And for example, in my country, in France, nowadays in Paris or in large cities, they're nearly all closed down. And only a few palaces and a few of the big hotels are open. And when they are open, they've got only 20 to 25% occupancy rate. So it's a chaos. Nearly all congresses in this month up to the end of this year, at least, they are closed now. So it's a big problem. But then we will recreate the new conditions. I have no answer, especially for mice, but for small companies, yes. And please contact your local hotel school. Please contact your local university, and you will see they may have solutions for you. And while you cannot work, perhaps you can learn new things and new technologies, or what we were talking about, security or human care. Perhaps they've got solutions for you.
Martin?
Yes, and I do agree, and it's time to save time for the future. We face chaos, as Philip mentioned, but we need to invest. We need to take that time to invest on people, to invest on the strategy that we would like to implement for the future. So, it's an ongoing process, but still we need to do these small little steps towards the recovery phase and towards a more bright future.
Yeah, Al?
Well, small businesses are suffering. That's the reality. Even here in China, they are trying to catch up. Small hotels, small restaurants, F&B outlets have suffered, but lately, because China managed to overcome its COVID-19 situation, by myself now, it's very busy. We had very nice, and restaurants also are very active here in China now. They have very nice deals. They're trying to attract more people. Also, there is a micro level economical input from the government. They put some money for restaurants so they can be used. So yes, I think it's neat for small enterprises, because small enterprises means employment. A lot of people don't pay attention. The employment does not come from big hotels. They are the small businesses that they employ 15, 20 people, that they actually make a lot of dent when it comes to employment. I believe it's very hard for them now, especially in Europe. I'm seeing that, but here in China, I can see that they are recovering. Some businesses went out of business. Some businesses were also very interestingly innovative in the way they acted. Some restaurants start selling actually their food as vegetables, as things like that, to adjust to the new situation. I saw it. It's quite amazing. Maybe you say, oh, our restaurants start selling vegetables and the food, but during a moment of crisis, you need to make a living, and you need to adjust to the new situation. And I could see that businesses in China, they try to do whatever possible to keep afloat till the situation become much more clearer. And now I just went to, with my daughter this morning, to a Comic-Con event with F&B outlets and everything open in Beijing. It's quite extraordinary event here. So yes, so I can see that in Europe still a little bit suffering. In Africa, it's a big disaster actually, because most cities are quarantined and they cannot open in the evening. So yeah, it's a very hard time. Hopefully things will get better in Europe and in Africa. That's my understanding. And hopefully this time, you have to be innovative in your business. You cannot just sit down and wait for the tourists to come to you, or sit down and wait for money to come from the sky.
No,
it doesn't happen anymore.
Exactly. Dennis, what happened in Russia, or your opinion?
I must say that I wouldn't dare to answer for the mice industry. I'm not that familiar with them. As for the medium-sized companies, yes. For them to invest some and to explore.
We have a problem with the connection.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, now better. Yes, please.
Yes, I'm sorry, my connection sometimes breaks. As for the medium-sized companies, I believe it is time for them to invest this time into education. On our example, lots of Russian technological companies such as Mail.ru, Yandex.ru, Sberbank, and so on, have corporate universities. And they also allow people from other companies, or just students, just people, to enter these universities for some price. It is not that pricey, the price is not that high, but you'll gain the skills that you need for your future career. So perhaps it will be an answer to the problems arising.
We have reached the end of our webinar, so thank you for your participation. Thank you, Philippe, Martin, Al, and Dennis. Good luck for everybody, and we look forward to see you in our next proposal and our next webinar. So thank you so much. Only one line, please, for close this webinar for each position and for each of you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Daniela, for this for the organization of this webinar. Thank you so much, and we are very pleased to strengthen our relationship between Skål International and AMFORTH International. And this is the whole topic, perhaps, is to strengthen, the two worlds, the industry world with the educational world, and we needed to better communicate. This is why we will be very pleased to welcome Skål International members to our AMFORTH, and the same thing to, for example, because I see his face, Said Boukhelifa. There, I can see on the screen, is the president of the Travel Agencies Association of Algeria, and is our delegate in Algeria. So obviously, Said, if he's not already a member of Skål, he will become a member of Skål International. And this is the opportunity of this afternoon to better know each other and to better work together between education and the industry. Thank you again, Daniela.
Martin.
Just a few words. Thank you, obviously, to all of us. It's been a pleasure being here, and we need to first improve and to increase our link in order to recover. Just a few words. For me, we need to care. Care is the major word for the coming months and the years to come. Care, reward, because we need to reward our guests, our students, and that's a critical element we haven't mentioned, but still, for me, that's really important. Invest, invest as well is a critical word, invest on people, training, on time, on strategy, and then adapt with humility, because it's an ongoing process. So we need to adjust and keep in mind that it's an ongoing process. We do not stop now. We need to adapt constantly, but with optimism. Let's stay optimistic, because we are all together and because the future will be bright, because it's a very interesting sector.
Please.
Yes, well, thank you for giving us the chance here to discuss together about the post-COVID-19 situation and how the training and the hospitality industry and education in general should see the future. I see that resiliency is one thing. We have to be resilient, and we have to think about how to improve ourselves. I think that's very, very important. Learning new skills. Training is important. This is the moment where we have to emphasize you cannot stop learning and train yourself every day, because tomorrow will be new challenges. Are you ready to take over? Are you ready to change with the new the environment you live in? So training is important, learning is important, and we have also to be creative in the way we think. We cannot just sit down and think the way we have been doing so far. I would say it will work. It will not work, believe me, because with the more law, we are moving very fast. Technology is moving very fast, and we have to catch up. I mean, it's a catch-up situation now we have to do, even in learning. This is not like before when you get a bachelor degree or a master degree and say, done, I am done, I get my job.
Finish, exactly.
Finished, bye-bye,
Exactly.
retire.
Yeah, sure. Dennis?
Yes, I would actually recommend to never stop moving. So you have to move, you have to adapt, to be flexible, and to always look for new possibilities, and just keep moving and stay safe. It's quite important nowadays when the second wave is coming. So just stay safe and stay bold.
The key is working together. So thank you so much, Philippe, Martin, Al, Dennis, and for all the people who join us around the world. Thank you, take care, and we will stay in contact. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye, thank you.